The new budget cap makes the Red Bull boss Christian Horner shake in his boots. Should a breach occur, these teams will be left in no man's land. The ambiguity in the F1 budget cap rules can't be brushed under the carpet, so we can't deny but agree that the FIFA decision of mandating the caps is not sitting well with the teams and especially Red Bull. So just how much is Red Bull on the verge of getting knocked down in this season? Let's find out. No wonder Red Bull is now seeking clarity on disqualification concerns for cap breach. Obviously, Christian Horner's mind must be running in loops of insanity, since Red Bull at any cost will be exceeding the $140 million limit. Guys, have you ever seen an F1 season without drama? As much as fans are crazy over racers, they are especially head over heels with the classic cars that speed up on the tracks, making the fans go gaga. And this season is giving teams like Red Bull heebie-jeebies. Is it really going to get disqualified? What F1 teams once thought a blessing in disguise turned out to be an utter hell for them. But before we go any further, don't you think it's odd for you not to get updated on things like this? Now that the F1 season is riding high, there will be so much more crazy stuff coming up for us. So subscribe to the channel to never miss any of the fun. And there are a couple interpretations many have missed. One is that it isn't about freight costs being higher this year. It's about whether Spice Boys will lose something more significant. I mean, look, the small teams have the same budget, but are managing so far to ensure they stay within the cost of things. Gunter Steiner put it this way: if you can't afford to put a new wing on, then you don't put a new wing on. It's as simple as that. And Horner has been going on about the budget cap since the start of the season, and is the only one consistently going on about it. Any guesses why? Let us know in the comment section below. We would love to hear your thoughts on this. And while the other one is that we can't be willingly ignorant, or, to put it in a simpler term, we just lack intelligence and basic comprehension if we are absent-minded going after the first interpretation, because even Mercedes, Ferrari, and McLaren have said they won't make the cap. Now, this puts all the critics in a tough spot, right? Don't you guys think so? Before you go nuts with these questions, let us dive deep into this, shall we? To make things spicier, it looks like inflation isn't going to step down from its high horse anytime soon. The F1 teams are going mad since this has sparked cost rises in all freaking areas of the business. Needless to say, Christian Horner is a bundle of nerves. He is tense, not having a clear image of what punishment they will face if the cap is exceeded. For some weird reason, it steers doubts when Red Bull badly wants to know what punishment they'll face. Is it because they just want to know so they can breach the budget cap? It won't be a shocker, considering it is Red Bull after all. Am I right? You don't agree with us? Let us know how you can back up the Red Bull boss's intentions behind knowing the punishment for breach of the cap, because he seems to be fighting tooth and nail to bring down F1 budget cap rules while other teams are cutting their cloth to fit. Is Horner getting prepared to cheat? If they take points away, he might not. But if it's just more money they need to throw in, Red Bull will win. Don't you guys think so? Despite being crowded by these fears, he has a shred of optimism that FIA will appreciate the disconcerting times faced by all the teams. Not only this, but he also says they'll adopt a sensible approach. Christian Horner said, there are many things to look at, but the problem is the penalty system. Up to the first 5% breach ranges anywhere from a slap on the wrist to disqualification. You don't know where you're at in this. There needs to be a common sense application because the situation might well get worse. We are also seeing the revenues growing with the deals that Formula One is signing. Even the last team in the championship has got over 50% more than their costs covered by revenue into the sport. So it is not a cash issue, it is a cap regulatory issue. One thing we can deduce from this talk, if it's a cash issue, then Red Bull will win, don't you think so? Because a team with a big budget will have the opportunity to bring the best car. And even surprisingly, Sonar calls for a sensible solution. Would you like to see what he has got to say? Let's dive into this. Alpine team principal Otmar Safner said, as far as the cost cap goes, we've been against an increase this year. I do realize there's been a discussion going on behind the scenes to do something that's sensible. I'm not in favor of increasing the cap, but costs have gone up in a couple of areas that have been mentioned. The freight has increased, and that's very measurable for all teams. So if we come to some compromise on the freight, that's sensible. McLaurin's Andreas Siddle said, for us as a team that planned to run at the cap at the beginning of the year, with all these unexpected costs that came up, we are in a position where we can't make the cap anymore. You have certain fixed costs in order to start the season. You have fixed costs with your resources, which you have in place, the personnel, and soon, which you can't adjust anymore. With this unexpected huge increase in costs, mainly on the freight side and utility bills, we're in the position as some other teams, so we can't make the cap this year. Ferrari's Mattia Bernardo said the team would inevitably break past the budget cap this season. He said, what will be the implications? For me, the most important is that many teams will breach it. and they will simply be bad for the financial regulations because if we come to the point where we are breaching them, then we are debating its value and to round out the top 4 in the standings. And even Mercedes trackside engineers said early on we had a plan to land on the budget cap and work within it as everybody did, as costs like the freight were coming in at being multiples of that or energy, and the effect of inflation that has gone from being looking at ways to peg it back to stay within to a point where the challenges become insurmountable. We've got levers that you can push and pull your spending with, but the impact of those are not immediate, and the effect of those are not all powerful, and that the situation we are getting in now. So when you look at it, the challenges our teams face, and we are not the only one, it is a majority. It is a difficult challenge, and there are 1 or 2 if you are targeting to be below, things are falling in your favor, but it is still unclear what the FIA is planning to do. Would it be on track or in court? Well, they should not agree more to allow it only in areas such as freight. Aside from that, they should all have to stay within budget and should not allow any gray areas that could be used for development, etc. It would be fun to watch the Red Bull whine about that. Do you guys wish that too? Let us know in the comments below. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the bell icon not to miss any updates.